Welcome once again to Imola for the final time this weekend. We're getting ready to race the fantastic, the fabulous Euroformula Open Championship. It's been a brilliant, a superb weekend of racing so far. Here at the home of the Emilia-Romagna Formula One Grand Prix, a beautiful summer's afternoon. Threatening skies all weekend. We have had a few drops of rain, but nothing more than that. We've raced on the slick tyres as you look at the magnificent Dallara EF320 F3 spec cars in pit lane. There's Jack Crawford to the right of your screen, just disappearing down the track. He will start on pole position. He's actually fourth in the championship after a second place this morning, a race win yesterday. Team DriveX, Brendan Oxley, the debutant, and his teammate Enzo Shanti come out onto the circuit. This is the final race of the weekend. There's Nazim Atzman in the background. He's had a good run. He's third in the series. He's the Malaysian. To the left of your screen, Enzo Trulli. We'll speak about the young Italian in just a moment. As Jack Crawford goes down into Tamburello, a final new bolted-on set of Michelin tyres. Jack Crawford, the Red Bull Junior, the driver to beat here this weekend. The pole sitter with a time of 1:34, the high 1:34s. In a red flag affected qualifying. If you missed race 2 this morning, he finished second behind Roman Stanek, the Czech, who took a fantastic nail-biting victory. In the dying stages of the race, he held off Jack. It was an inverted grid. Rafa Villagomez, as you look at Chambolic Barsi, Rafa's teammate for the Van Amersfoort racing team. Rafa finished position 3 after finishing 6th yesterday. We inverted the top 6. Jack started out of grid 6. Rafa Villagomez led the field down into turn 1. A great start from the Mexican, delighted with the podium this morning. Could not quite keep the pace with Roman and Jack, but finished on the podium P3. Jack was second and Roman took his victory. Much deserved for Stanek. Joins us from the FIA Formula 3 Championship, held off Crawford. Motopark going 1-2 and Van Amersfoort Racing on the podium with Villagomez in third. There's Chambolic Barsi, a race winner at the Hungaro Ring 2 weeks ago in changing weather conditions. Crawford will start on pole position. We'll go through the grid for you in its entirety in a few moments. There is Rafael Villagomez from Guadalajara in Mexico. From pole position, he rocketed off the line to lead down into Tamburello, held the lead for a few laps. You look at Nazim Atzman, the Malaysian from the British F3 series, third in the championship, which is still being led by just one single point by Cameron Das over Louis Foster. Cameron to start on the second row of the grid. Louis on the third. The second generation racer, the son of the British touring car racer Nick Foster, here at the circuit to see if his boy can take the championship lead into the next round of the series, which will be held at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. There is Jack to the right of your screen. Roman Stanek down into Aqua Minerale on this sighting lap out the pits. Zdenek Jovanek for Double R Racing, the team that started life under the guidance or the ownership of Steve Robertson, IndyCar or Indy Lights champion back in the early 1990s. That's one R. The other R stands for Kimi Räikkönen. Steve Hyatt taking over the team about a decade ago. They've got 2 drivers on the grid here this weekend as you look at Roman. Josh Mason, 21, and Zdenek Jovanek in car 66. Roman Stanek spoke glowingly about the Dallara EF320 this morning. Absolutely loves the car. He will start on the outside of the front row of the grid. If he can get the jump on Crawford, well, we may have another fantastic battle on our hands this afternoon. 19 laps. We will race a full Grand Prix distance over the course of the weekend. We've already raced 200 kilometres. And race 3 coming up in just a moment. Actually, I do tell a lie. It's 3 times 99 point something kilometres each race. So just a few hundred metres shy of a full Grand Prix distance of 300 kilometres. We'll take a close-up look of Jack Crawford, car 52, to the right of your screen in just a moment. The Texan, who does not or will not compete in all rounds of the series due to a clash of dates with his home race at Austin, Texas, the FIA Formula 3 Series, as it makes its series debut on the other side of the Atlantic. We can't expect Jack to miss his home race. Here is Crawford. Will start out of pole position. Car 52, the Red Bull Junior for Team Motor Park. His teammate Roman Stanek in the background, the quietly spoken American. Almost something of an oxymoron is that statement. Jack Crawford, P1, fourth in the series. And we'll take a look at Roman Stanek in just a moment. Great drive from Roman. Absolutely loves the car. Loves racing in the Euroformula Open Series, as do all these drivers. Absolutely superb racing. The grid to be decided by the fastest lap times from race 2 this morning. Enzo Trulli will start out of grid 3. He had to pit early for a loose airbox. Here is the Carlin Racing team. The 16-year-old Italian drove a race car, drove a car for the first time just 9 months ago. Was a factory kart racer for the Kart Republic team in 2020. Won the United Arab Emirates Formula 4 Championship and lines up grid 3, car 15 for the Carlin Racing team in the Euroformula Open Championship final race of the weekend. Here is Cameron Das, the race leader by a single point, 213 points to 212 for Louis Foster. Ian Silvestrin with you in commentary, delighted once again for the final time to be joined by Elliot Wood. Elliot, Jack starts out of pole position. Roman won race 2 this morning if he can get the jump, as we look at car 27 of Louis Foster, who is within 1 point of the championship lead. If Roman can get the jump down into turn 1, well, it will be on.
Yeah, and obviously Roman, having debuted this weekend, he's not in the title fight. He's an interloper in this battle between Crawford, Das and Foster. Now, Cameron Das did have a puncture. It was confirmed in race 2. That was what sent him to the back, but they checked the replay, they checked RTV footage, they checked everything. They couldn't see any sign of contact at all that caused it. And here are the highlights of race 2.
Jack Crawford from race 1, I believe we're watching at the moment. This is indeed race 1. Louis Foster and Casper Stevenson making contact. Nazim Atzman, the innocent victim in that. Philippe Caminez found the wall after a mechanical failure. Roman Stanek making the move on Cameron Das, who finished in position 5. Stanek finished in 4th place. Jack Crawford took the checker flag to win race 1 24 hours ago this afternoon. From pole position this morning in race 2, Rafa Villagomez launched off the line as Zdenek Chauvenet stalled at the back of the pack. Roman Stanek already moving into 2nd place. A great drive from Enzo Trulli. The young Italian found himself in 5th place. And this frighteningly close battle for the lead in the dying stages of the race. Roman Stanek holds on to take his maiden victory in the Euroformula Open Championship here at Imola 2021. Great to have your company. You join us just in time as we prepare to race. Race 3 of the weekend here at Imola, the halfway point of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Crawford on pole, the race winner from this morning, Stanek out of 2. Enzo out of 3. Cameron Das, still the championship leader out of 4. Louis Foster, Nazim Atzman, Chembolik Pasi and Rafa Villagomez. Then it's Casper Stevenson, Zdenek Chauvenet on the 5th row, Josh Mason, Brandon Oxley, Philippe Caminez on the final row of the grid, along with the 3rd American, Enzo Shanti. The view from the Carlin racing car of Enzo Trulli. So the 2 Enzos in the field, the 2 Texans in the field, the American and the Czech on the front row of the grid. Jack Crawford took pole position in qualifying with a blistering lap under 1 minute 35. He will be the favourite. He's not the championship contender. It comes down to Cameron Dass and Louis Foster at this stage. Although Natsim Atzman, third in the series on 165 points. Louis Foster on 212 and Cameron Dass on 213. So effectively we will have a race for the race this afternoon, and then the championship. We'll keep one eye on that as well.
Yeah, there's going to be lots to play for. Obviously, there's an additional 2 points for the most positions gained in this race. Now, the drivers starting towards the back. Casper Stevenson, for example, down in 9th place. He's going to be one of the contenders for that. An additional point for fastest lap. We've seen Jack Crawford take that twice now. Very, very quick on this circuit he is. He took pole here in Italian Formula 4 last year. I believe he won here as well. It's a circuit he absolutely loves, and according to the drivers up front, there's very little and tire degradation on this track as well. So expect as the fuel level drops, the lap times are going to get faster. Potentially close to qualifying pace, depending on who saved a set of fresh tyres for this race and who's reusing a set from earlier in the weekend.
The GT Open GT3 category has raced here earlier this afternoon, so there is strips of rubber which has been painted onto the circuit, incredibly grippy. The track temperature just over 40 degrees. Look at the clean racing line, the rubber offline. The air temperature almost 34 degrees Celsius. A warm summer's afternoon here in Italy's Motor Valley. Crawford to start from pole position. Stanek on debut in the Euroformula Open Championship. On the outside of the front row of the grid, we watch Enzo Trulli from the second row. We'll try and launch. There's Cameron Dass, the championship leader. Car 27 is Louis Foster. So the fight for the championship. Louis Foster, 1 point behind Cameron Dass, the Brit, the American, 1-2 in the series. The Malaysian in third, some distance back, but do not discount Natsim Atzman, who's had a good run so far this weekend. This is the view on board from Enzo Trulli. We'll start from grid 3, the young Italian. Zdenek Chauvenet pulls to the right of the pack. There is Brandon Oxley, Philip Caminiaz. Here at Imola, what a sight this is. Euroformula Open. Race 3 here at the home of the Emilia-Romagna Formula 1 Grand Prix. The green flag at the back of the grid for the final time here at Imola. We race. Nice start by Crawford. Stanek tries to go with him. Enzo Trulli started grid 3. He's in third place already, holding off the challenge from Cameron Dass, and Foster behind. Foster down the inside. Dass around the outside. Crawford holds the lead over Stanek as they race through Tamburello. There's Oxley going wheel to wheel with Zdenek Chauvenet, and Foster tries to take the place away from the championship leader already in the early stages of the race. That's Cameron Dass. Natsim Atzman. Oh, we've got 2 cars off the road. Chauvenet in one of the DriveX team cars. Either Shanti or Oxley. It was Brandon Oxley. Crawford leads as Brandon and Stanek continue on, and they race trying to catch up to the back of the pack. Super perfect start from Jack Crawford.
Yeah, and a great start by Louis Foster as well, the fastest off the line, but he's on the inside going into Tamburello, which wasn't where he wanted to be, so he wasn't able to get past Cameron Dass there, and he's now got Chen Bollock-Bassi, our lead Van Amersfoort Racing car, on his tail as well. So we've got around 6 cars covered by less than a second right now at the front of the field, and he's getting really close. A little bit of tyre smoke as Stanek bounces over the curbs at Varianti Alta Chicane, which is the highest point of this track, and particularly where these cars can almost put all 4 wheels off the track.
Chauvenet and Oxley were lucky to continue on, although it looks as though Zdenek has got a car that is not exactly 100%. He is circulating, but at the back of the field, and it looks as though he's dropped the pace. There is Enzo Shanti going through. In position 12 behind the pole.
Josh Mason.
Yeah. What a moment for Josh.
That is a double R racing car. He's looking in his mirrors, doesn't want to get in the way of anyone as he rejoins the track, because this pit straight does have 2 kinks in, which makes it a little bit tricky to navigate. And now he's defending hard from, looks like, Philippe Caminiaz. That is for 10th place, so the final points position. Almost runs onto the grass as they approach Tamburello. The move is made before they reach the corner. Very good driving there from Mason to actually get the car back under control after the off. Jack Crawford, 0.489 seconds up ahead. We saw him do this in the previous 2 races. He just streaks ahead once he's clear. You know, he can break that slipstream very quickly.
That was super skillful from Josh. Did make the slightest of errors. It doesn't take much to run one of these cars off the road. They are so quick. They are ferociously quick around this Imola circuit. An average speed of up near 190 k's an hour. Josh Mason did incredibly well to hold on to it. As you look at Cameron Dass as they race down the hill, side by side, takes Trulli around the outside into Aqua Minerale. Super move by the American. Trulli back to 4, now being hounded by Louis Foster.
Going into chicane, Foster's going to try and peek out, but Trulli's got the inside line. Foster stays back behind him. That's allowed it. And Stanek, a little bit of smoke again, so clearly something a little uncomfortable on his car. Trulli's still ahead of Foster as they run down the hill to the final 2 corners of this lap. Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2. Foster draws alongside. He's going to try and take the outside line. Going to Ravazza 1, late on the brakes, concedes, and he stays behind it. He hit the rear. I believe he said, yeah, the rear wing of Trulli's car is off, and that's one of the Van Amersfoort cars going off as well. Chembolic Bassi around the outside of Ravazza 2, and he's spun.
Oh, wow.
That's taken out both his teammates, Rafael Villagomez and Casper Stevenson. Trulli's into the pits. He looks like he's got a punctured rear wing down as well. There's Villagomez also trying to make it into the pits, checking the handling of the car. Stevenson as well. Go back to the front of the field. Crawford 6/10 ahead of Roman Stanek. Cameron Dass way back in 3rd place, 3 seconds now. The gap is to him. Louis Foster in 4th. We need to see the front of his car because that appears to be damaged. Brandon Lee Oxley now up to 7th. This is only his 3rd race.
The safety car is out. Can you believe all 3 Van Amersfoort racing cars into the gravel, damage to the back of the Carlin racing car of Enzo Trulli. What a disaster. Fritz Van Amersfoort, who has to be the biggest fan there is of these beautiful Dallara Euroformula open cars, but right now he'll have his head in his hands. There is Rafa Villagomez. Car 8, the VAR team go to work. There's Fritz at the back of the car. Enzo Trulli limps into pit lane. It was all looking so good for the Italian. It looks as though that's the end of his weekend.
And all that was caused by Louis Foster coming up behind Enzo Trulli, and we're hopefully going to see replay the move now. We're going to follow the action behind the safety car, but essentially he went for an overtake. I think there was contact because clearly the rear end of Trulli's car took damage, and then the dust kicked up as one of the drivers went into the gravel, kind of caused a bit of confusion for everyone else. And I think the 2 Van Amersfoort cars are trying to take avoiding action as their teammate Chembolic Bassi span, but there wasn't much they could do. Here's a replay of the start.
So Crawford from pole position from the front row of the grid. Roman Stanek went with him. It was a good start from Enzo Trulli. In 3rd place, Cameron Dass around the outside of Foster. In the background, Stanek Jovanek would come together with Brendan Lee Oxley. They went off the road. They did rejoin. And in a bizarre sort of way, that incident may have saved them from damage further up a lap or 2 later.
And there's debris currently on track at turn 19, which is where Ravazza 2 is, and it does look like Villagomez has re-entered the track. We've still got Trulli in the pits, and I don't think Bollock Bassi actually made it to the end of the lap. Josh
Mason with a wild ride. Foster runs into the back of Trulli inadvertently, and look at this. Bollock Bassi into the gravel. He beached it on the ripple strip. Casper Stevenson and Rafa Villagomez. Oh, the 2 VAR cars smash into each other, literally.
It was actually Villagomez rear-ending Bollock Bassi round, so that is very unfortunate. And it was Foster who did knock off the rear wing mounting of Enzo Trulli, so not much could be done by those behind at that point.
And we saw in the background Chovanek, who ran off the road on the opening lap of the race with Oxley. That may have actually done him a favour because he's gone through and he's still circulating, avoided that carnage, and he's in position 9. Stevenson, he did manage to carry on. There is Jarno Trulli to the right of screen, the father of Enzo. That is the 2004 Monaco Formula 1 Grand Prix winner looking at the back of the car. So hopeful they were. They had that airbox to the right of your screen work loose in race 2. Set the 3rd quickest time. They are still working on it. Enzo out of the car, seeing if it is repairable. Looks unlikely though. And it looks as though the Italians' impressive weekend thus far is now over.
And typically once you're out of the car, you're not really supposed to be getting back in it. So I'm going to take that as his race is over. Hopefully we will see him in the series again this year. Obviously he's done several rounds. Villagomez just gone past the commentary box, so he's over a minute down, but he isn't a lap down. So with this safety car, he could actually catch up all the way to the back of this pack in 12th place and potentially refresh the tyres as well.
So Trulli is definitely out of the race. Bollock Bassi, we're looking for the Turk. We believe he is circulating somewhere on the circuit. The safety car, if it stays out, it will help Gem, the most popular driver in the series. Well, I say that, but we look at Jack Crawford, a lot of support for the Red Bull Junior from the other side of the Atlantic. But Bollock Bashi, the safety car is in this lap. He may not catch up to the back of the train. There is Casper Stevenson, Josh Mason, the two English drivers at the back of the field. So we are getting ready for the restart. Roman Stanek, while all this has been going on, he's in second place. He made a great start, was hassling the back of Jack. Crawford is the race leader, warms the Michelin tyres as they come down the hill. Roman just sits there and now accelerates and goes with him. That's Das, the championship leader, in position 3, and Foster right behind. And it's Adsman, Caminiaz, Oxley and Shanti. Good performance from the DriveX team drivers. As they come onto the straight, we race again. They're side by side. Stanek around the outside of Jack Crawford. Fantastic racing, and he's done it. Will he push Crawford into the grass, over the concrete verging, down into Tamburello? Tries to close off the American, goes in deep. Roman Stanek, what a move to take Crawford on the restart. That was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and Crawford was deliberately weaving as much as he could down through Ravazza 1 because Stanek's far faster through those final 2 corners, and it's in these corners where Crawford is the stronger driver. As we can see, he's hassling the rear of Stanek already. Got Cameron Das and Louis Foster right behind. So these are the lead 4 drivers of this weekend, pretty much battling through these opening laps. But Stanek was already past Crawford beyond the first kink of the pit straight, and way before the actual kind of the lighting beam where the lap starts and finishes. So that might be investigated because you don't usually see drivers being overtaken before the next lap has begun.
He timed it beautifully though. He's already pulled away. And Cameron Das in third place. He's made a good start as well. Foster behind. Then the Malaysian, Natsim Adsman. We go back to Philippe Caminiaz. Best run of the weekend for the pole, who's had 2 DNFs thus far. Would be great to see Philippe as they come through Alta Variante at the top of the hill. There is Philippe Caminiaz in car 88 in position 6 ahead of Oxley Chauvenet. He's up into 8th after running into the gravel on the opening lap, and we're just being told that the restart is under investigation. So a brilliant restart from Stanek, but was it too good?
Yeah, potentially just went a little too early. Here is a replay. So the white line at the bottom of the track, that is the start-finish line of this lap. Stanek is ahead by 0.06 seconds as they cross that.
Ooh,
that's what's under investigation right now. However, if you do stand at that line, great views as the cars go past.
So for the moment, we'll keep one eye on race control. Any notification coming through here from Imola. Crawford in second place. Cameron Das will still take the championship lead into the Red Bull ring if he can hold off Foster, who's right behind him. So we've got 2 Americans, a Czech and an Englishman inside the top 4. Crawford, will he inherit the race lead by default? We're already past quarter race distance in race 3.
Further back, we've got, it looks like, so Brandon Lee Oxley is in 7th place, Josh Mason in 8th, Endo Scionti right on his rear, going for 8th place at the moment. Now, these DriveX drivers are a little less experienced than most of their rivals. Oxley has only done a few Spanish F4 rounds after racing in touring cars last year, so he is very new to this kind of high downforce single-seater, but doing a very good job here in 7th place, beating his teammate once again. We go back to the front. Roman Stanek, 0.26 seconds ahead of Jack Crawford now. A penalty minimum would be 5 seconds, or if they're serving it in race speed, giving the position back. Race control can ask a driver to do that, and I imagine if I was Roman Stanek, I'd be wanting it to be the latter so I can then regain the lead.
I doubt that will be the case, but anyway, it's not for us to decide. We'll keep one eye on that. Roman Stanek, regardless, still driving nicely. Cameron Das, he told us, he basically admitted this will be his worst round of the series, has never raced at Imola before, but he's doing a good job in position 3. The 2 Americans, 2nd and 3rd, as now Jack gets the toe and Roman Stanek down into Tamburello, gets sucked into the slipstream. Will he dive down the inside? Roman Stanek goes deep under brakes, holds the lead for the moment. Crawford runs a little bit wide, and in the background, Das, Foster, and Natsim Adsman. Into Villeneuve, the Variante Villeneuve, and then the Tosa curve. Stanek, an aggressive restart and good speed here this afternoon. Still Team Motopark. 1, 2, Caminiaz driving nicely in the background. The pole closing in on the back of the Malaysian as they climb the hill. It is Stanek, Crawford, Das, Foster, Atzman coming, he has Oxley into 7th place.
And Enzo Scionti's had an issue. He was 6 seconds slower than everyone else on the last lap, dropped from 9th down to 12th place. So Rafael Villagomez, who did have to go into the pits on lap 2 of this race, is now back up to 9th place and ahead of Zdeněk Chovanec. So that's a good recovery for him, but we haven't really seen what's happened to Enzo Scionti, who is the last place driver on track at the moment.
He was doing well. He was in position 8 after a difficult introduction to Imola in Euroformula. But he has dropped down, yes, the final runner. This may well explain it. This is Zdeněk Chovanec going through ahead of Casper Stevenson. Oh, the Brit in the gravel just lifts and just carries on. A wild ride approaching Tosa.
And that's allowed Enzo Scionti to make up a place there. Scionti's back up to 11th. Stevenson down to 12th. Mason still in 8th. Come down. Crawford's ahead of Stanek, so we've missed that. We haven't been showing that. Crawford ahead by 0.45 seconds as they cross the start-finish line to complete lap 7 of this race. Cameron Dass 2.4 seconds behind then. Louis Foster 4/10 behind. Stanek's eyeing up Tamburello. He's not going to make the move. Louis Foster the same, just hounding the cars ahead of him.
A 1:36.306 last time round for Jack Crawford, the fastest driver on the circuit. He's gone through. So if there is a penalty applied to Roman Stanek, it will be irrelevant.
And Brandon Lee Oxley's had an off as well. He's lost several seconds. He's dropped from 7th to 9th. So Josh Mason up to 7th place now. There's a little bit of debris there coming out of Villeneuve, and Rafael Villagomez in 8th.
Crawford climbs the hill and he is pulling away from Stanek. This is ominous. About 5 car lengths ahead. Here is Cameron Dass driving nicely. The driver from Maryland, USA, his countryman in P1. Stanek climbs the hill, the race winner this morning. Crawford right on the back of the check to finish in 2nd place. And Jack with the race 1 victory yesterday afternoon. The drivers from the FIA Formula 3 Championship running 1 and 2. Of course, Cameron Dass running in FIA F3 in 2020 as well. And Foster right behind the 2nd generation racer gets the run down into Ravazza. Foster, can he try and take Dass? If he gets by, it would also be the championship lead as well. There's Roman Stanek going through, loses time to Jack Crawford in the background. Dass and Foster too far back to get the tow from Jack Crawford. Dass, car 28, Foster 27. They'll race interview right now. They're side by side down the straight. Atzman in the background. Dass down the inside. Foster will try and take the outside. Dass goes in very, very deep into Tamburello. And the American, the championship leader, still just holds off the Brit in car 27. Atzman. The Malaysian has caught them. Foster dives down the inside. He'll do it. No, he won't. Oh, wow. Cameron holds him off. And the Malaysian is right there as well. It's a 3-car fight for the final step of the podium. Look at Philippe Caminiaz in the background. If they continue to fight, the Pole will drag himself into this battle for the final step of the podium as well. Super racing in the Euroformula Open Championship here at Imola.
Yeah, great battling, all clean between our 2 main title contenders, Cameron Dass, Louis Foster. Whoever finishes ahead out to these 2 will be in the championship lead going into the long summer break before Red Bull Ring. And we've got gravel on track at turn 19, so another driver has had an off at the penultimate corner. We come through and see Roman Stanek. He's coming behind Jack Crawford, 9/10 behind. He's losing time, but he's normally faster through these final few corners. Better traction through Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2. Jack Crawford has admitted that this is where he struggled to defend against Stanek, and it was where the slipstream effect became super powerful because he was already closing in as they exited the corner. So he is going to complete lap 9 of this race. Crawford in the lead, going for his 2nd win of the weekend.
Half race distance now. Roman Stanek almost close enough to get the slipstream from the back of Jack Crawford. They've both pulled away from Dass, Foster, Atzman as they continue to fight. A 1:35.821, an average speed. Look at that for our friends watching live in the United Kingdom, the United States. That's what, 110, 115 miles an hour average speed here at Imola.
Yeah, it's one of the fastest tracks we go to on this calendar, and it also provides some brilliant racing, which is, quite rare for a track where not too many overtaking opportunities. Louis Foster staying on the rear of Cameron Dass. Nazim Azman drops back a little bit. He probably doesn't want to get too involved just in case there's some drama ahead of him, because he can pick up those places a little easier if that occurs. Crawford now 1.2 seconds clear of Roman Stanek, and those two once again are faster than the cars behind. They're working together, almost pushing each other along with the air to create a gap. And the highest place of the Van Amersfoort racing cars is still Villa Gomez in 8th place. He's chasing Josh Mason for 7th. That's a 4-second gap between Mason and Caminiars. So we've got a top 5 breakaway. Caminiars is trying to bring himself into it, and then almost a second race going on from 7th place downwards.
Cameron Dass withstands the pressure for the moment from Louis Foster. Hatzman in the background. The problem for Louis is the Malaysian has caught up to him. He wasn't able to get by the American Cameron Dass, the championship leader. And that may well be the last chance that Louis Foster has, for the moment at least, as we pass half race distance. Forget about Dass in 3rd place. Hatzman is catching him. He'll give the toe to the car behind him. Nazim Hatzman for the Crypto Tower Racing Team. Foster knows that he tries to break the toe. Dass does likewise. 3, 4, 5. They race across the line. Crawford now 1.5 seconds ahead of Roman Stanek. A 1:35.8 for Jack Crawford, the fastest driver on the circuit. The Texan is pulling away, looking to take his 2nd victory of the weekend and potentially move into 3rd place in the Euroformula Open Championship 2021.
And we've still got just over a second covering our 3rd, 4th and 5th place cars. Asman actually coming out the final corner of previous lap, hopped over the curves, and as he landed back on the track, it's a little too rough. Hopefully going to replay. And this is actually Casper Stevenson having a wide, going wide, having an off out of the final corner. It doesn't look like he's lost a place, because he was already down in 12th place, but he had just caught onto the rear of Enzo Scionti, so no progress made for the Briton. Back to the battle for 3rd place. Cameron Dass half a second up on Louis Foster, 7/10 up on Nazim Azman, who will be wanting to get past these guys because he is still in title contention. He's 3rd in the points, he's chasing them, he's been matching them, getting a few podiums, but he hasn't yet won a race this year.
Elliot, it's been a great recovery from Josh Mason. He was off the road on the opening lap of the race. He's into position 7. Sure, he has been helped by some incidents, but he's driving nicely, lapping consistently. He's behind Caminias, who is admittedly further up the road, ahead of Villa Gomez, Oxley, Chauvenet, Scionti, and Stevenson, who does rejoin the track after running off the circuit right there 1 lap ago.
Jack Crawford crosses the line to complete lap 11. He is 2.2 seconds ahead of Roman Stanek now. We saw that notice saying the restart was under investigation. Haven't had anything that's occurred since, so presuming it was involving Stanek, I imagine the change of position has kind of got that solved already. Cameron Dass, 6 seconds back now in 3rd place. We did see Chen Bollock Bassey's car actually being taken back to the pits on the back of the truck, so his race was definitely over very early on after the spin. Crawford 2.2 seconds now. He's lapping, actually the last lap was his fastest lap, a 1:35.4, average speed 185.1 kilometers per hour.
He's frighteningly quick here around Imola. Jack Crawford, just 16 years of age, as Rafa Villa Gomez falls into the pits. It looks as though the Mexican, after his podium this morning, is the 3rd retirement from race 3 here this afternoon. On your screen right now, Jack Crawford exits Aqua Minerale. His lead is 2.2 seconds over Roman Stanek, the Czech, and he's pulling away. There is Roman struggling to stay with. Let's hope they can race green to the checkered flag. No word from race control for the moment. So Stanek looking at a podium, but a win this afternoon seems unlikely as Jack continues to lap quicker than any other driver on the circuit. Dass, Foster, Hatzman, 3, 4, 5. The battle for the championship and the final step of the podium. Coming into this final race, 213 points. Let's remind you, Cameron Dass and Foster, 212.
So at the moment, it will go up to 3-point lead, but if Foster gets ahead, it will be going 1 point the other way. However, the fastest lap point is still coming into play here. Although Jack Crawford currently holds the fastest lap, he will get that point. If Cameron Dass or Louis Foster go faster than him, then they will claim that point as well.
Dass just tries to break the toe from Foster. Down into Tamborello. I know we have spoken about the speed of these cars. As we look at the Van Amersfoort racing car of Rafa Villagomez, he steps out, the Mexican. A good run this morning, steps out and does retire.
They're inspecting the air intakes and side pods, so I imagine there was gravel at turn 19. Perhaps it's ingested a few stones, a few rocks, and that can cause a lot of damage to the inside of the car, so you want to inspect it. And even if he goes, a few laps down, there's enough time to put a fresh set of tyres on and go the fastest lap and get 1 point.
Roman Stanek 2.4 seconds behind Jack Crawford. We wait. Cameron Dass comes down the hill in the middle of the circuit. Foster and Atzman 3-4-5. It's looking good for the American Cameron Dass to extend his championship lead, albeit by a minor margin, as we go to the Red Bull Ring in Austria in just about 2 months' time. A little less, in fact, the 12th of September. We'll see you at the home of the Austrian and, of course, the Styrian Formula One Grand Prix.
Yeah, and it's a circuit with a lot of history, just like Imola. It's had a few iterations over the year, a few changes, mostly safety upgrades, but of course it's held many, many famous Formula One races.
It's another circuit where the Euroformula Open Championship cars do shine. Let's give you a little bit of a background of these cars. It is Euroformula Open. We can't officially call them Formula 3 cars, but that's effectively what they are. F3 spec. Not to make comparisons, we don't want to compare with any other series in the region. Actually, I tell a lie, we can't do anything, but these cars are 4 seconds a lap faster than the regional series, which raced here earlier in the series at the Hungaroring. They are 6 seconds a lap faster. When we go to the Red Bull Ring, the gap will be about 4 or 5 seconds. In fact, the leaders, such as Crawford and Stanek, they would be near the back of the grid in an FIA F3 race, which is pretty impressive given that those cars have a V6 engine pushing out near on 400 horsepower.
Yeah, and Josh Mason now currently chasing Philippe Caminiars for 6th place. And as you can see, very streamlined these cars are, under 800 kilograms, really light, really nimble. What the drivers are telling me was because of how much they go through the fuel at this circuit in particular, the cars get particularly light towards the end, and because the tyres aren't degrading that much, you then actually have an improvement in pace rather than the tyres kind of going away from you, and that really helps with learning how almost on the edge a car can go and then finding that edge and keeping it there. For any position on this race, it's always worthy getting that learning in, and at a track like this as well, you only visit it once a year for 3 races, so make the most of it because it is a historic track, which such great asphalt as well. Not many tracks have as smooth as asphalt as Imola.
In fact, just 575 kilograms with the driver, around about 260 horsepower. And of course, the fabulous Michelin tyres, which these drivers love. We look at Philippe Caminiars. Good recovery from Josh Mason, the final quarter of the race coming up now. Caminiars has driven well, a DNF in race 1 yesterday, a DNF in race 2 this morning. He accelerates. There's Josh Mason in the gravel, in the grass on the opening lap of the race. Let's hope these two can have a final great dice to the checkered flag. Caminiars tries to break the toe. Josh Mason in the background. They race down the straight over 260 k's an hour. Mason on the back of Caminiars. And Philippe holds off Josh for the moment. Crawford out front. His lead is 3.4 seconds over Roman Stanek. Dass still in 3rd place. Look at this battle between Philippe and Josh.
And it looks like Josh has got the LDF rear wing settings. That's low downforce, will help with straight line speed and, of course, closing in onto the rear Caminiars. However, it does make the car a little more, itchy, you could say, on the corners. It's getting away from you slightly. You're losing a bit of speed as you exit those corners as well because it takes a little longer to get the traction down. But Caminiars is doing a good job to hold on to 6th place there. 0.2 second gap. This, I believe, will be his best result of the weekend. It's not been the easiest of weekends for the pole at Imola, but his teammates have also done very good jobs. Up front now, 3.4 seconds for Crawford in his lead against Stanek. 1 minute 35.429 last time by 185.2 kph average speed. Probably maxing out at over 200 kph on this very long pit straight.
Around about 260, 261, depending on the toe, the slipstream, as they race down the hill. This world-famous circuit on the edge of the town. It's virtually in the town centre, so close to it here at Imola. 3 retirements from race 3 this afternoon. Rafa Villagomez, we saw the Mexican step out of the 8th Van Amersfoort racing car. Unfortunately, Enzo Trulli and Chambolik Pasi also retire. As you look at Jack, 3.4 seconds ahead of Roman Stanek, gives you some idea of the performance of Cameron Dass. He's driven really well, given this is the first time the championship leader has ever seen the Imola circuit. Both Roman Stanek, car 7 on your screen, and Jack Crawford have raced N1 here previously in Formula 4. Admittedly a slower car, but still a single-seater open wheeler. So Cameron Dass, first visit to the legendary circuit. He's in position 3. He will take the championship lead to the Red Bull Ring in Austria if he holds off Foster for another 4 laps. Yep. Atzman in P5.
Yeah, Atzman's maintained that gap. It's currently 1.3 seconds, but he knows as long as he can stay within the slipstream, he can then push a little harder in those final few laps and get just as close as he was about 4 or 5 laps ago. And we have seen Dass and Foster getting a little racy, and that's cost them time as well, which has drawn Atzman back in. He will want to get ahead of them because he does want to stay in title contention and at least get a win in the books this season.
Foster's actually closed up somewhat slightly in the last half lap. The gap is 0. Well, you can see on your screen, he's right on the rear wing of Cameron Dass as they go down into Rivasa. There is Louis Foster, the second generation racer from England. His father, Nick, a British touring car racer not so long ago, here at the circuit, hoping his boy can take the championship lead. In the remaining 3 laps, Dass position 3, also the final step of the podium. Crawford seemingly on his way to victory ahead of Stanek, and there's this battle for 3rd.
And the gap has gone down to 0.4 seconds between Dass and Foster. Crawford way clear, we're following him through. See how smooth his driving style is around this track. He doesn't put too much temperature into the surface of the tyres, very smooth. I wouldn't say quite Jenson Button-like, because at this level the cars are so light. A smooth driving style means something completely different to a heavy F1 car, but it does work the tyres well at a high-speed track like this. Following battles further down the order, Brandon Lee Oxley is getting close. Josh Mason was briefly ahead of Philippe Caminiars there, I think. On the timing screens it showed him ahead, but Caminiars back ahead as they went across the timing beam, so that battle is still raging on for 6th place.
We take a look at the replay. This is in fact Josh Mason, Caminiars around the outside. Oh, they come so close to making contact. The pole just holds off the Brit in the dying stages of race 3 here this afternoon. Interesting point you made about Jenson Button. Of course, we remember he went straight from British F3 in similar cars to these to the Williams F1 team in the space of just a few months.
Yeah, the Dallara F3 car with the several iterations went to the F308, the F312, the F317, and then finally the Dallara 320, which is used in Europe and Japan in the Super Formula Light Series, which is just as thrilling as Euroformula here. A lot of those drivers go on to Super Formula and even IndyCar and F1 as well. So this is really a good series to prepare drivers for the professional ranks, and you get to race on some classic circuits as well. And
they're fabulous cars to drive in their own right. We heard from Roman Stanek after his victory this morning. Even though he had, well, you know what, covering his face, you could see the smile in his eyes. He absolutely loves it, driving the Euroformula Open cars. He's in position 2, no word from race control, so it looks as though there will be no penalty for Roman. Let's hope not for his sake, because he's driven well. He deserves another podium.
Yeah, and Stanek didn't actually go out in free practice due to engine issues, then crashed after his first run in qualifying. So he was significantly down on mileage in this car, which he had never driven before prior to this weekend. And he's done a brilliant job to take a win and potentially a 2nd place out of this.
So just over 10 kilometres to race, which is what, around about 6 miles, Elliot? You're from England, you still use the non-metric system over there.
Something approximate to that, yeah.
Certainly for Crawford from the USA. For our friends watching on live from the other side of the Atlantic, 2 laps, which is 5 kilometres each. So yeah, roughly about 6 miles to race for Crawford. As you look at another American, in fact, that's Oxley in 34, Shanti, his teammate in 35. There's Chauvenac in the background. There is that second Texan, Enzo Shanti. Good result from him this afternoon if he can bring it home inside the top 10.
And Casper Stevenson's done a really good job, because he's had 2 offs in the gravel now, but he's back to 2.4 seconds behind Enzo Shanti. It was around to, I think, around 7 seconds a few laps ago. So a great recovery drive. Jack Crawford just crossed the start-finish line again to complete lap 18, a 1:35.696. So he's very close to his fastest lap pace still. Now 4 seconds clear of Roman Stanek. He is on for a 2nd victory of the weekend.
Penultimate lap of the race for the Red Bull Junior, Jack Crawford. Quickly doing some mathematics, he may well jump Natsim Atzman into third in the championship. A win yesterday, a second place this morning. Atzman was on 165 points, Crawford on 154. And a victory here this afternoon versus P5 for the Malaysian. And Crawford, of course, there are super license points on the line as well. Crawford looking to become the next American driver in the world of Formula One since, what, Alexander Rossi around about half a decade ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of F1 graduates from Euroformula and IndyCar graduates as well. Alex Palou, the IndyCar points leader, did come through this series. It was actually his first step in junior single-seater racing, so a big jump, but he did very well at the time in cars that were so similar as well. And another thing about Euroformula, open-engine formula, we've got a Spies-powered car leading the way. Roman Stanek also using a Spies engine. These are the two Motorpark drivers, and in fact, with Cameron Dass in third, it's a Motorpark 1, 2, 3.
Two Americans inside the top three at the moment, the penultimate lap of the race. Jack Crawford will get the last lap forward this time around. Roman Stanek comes down the hill. Car 7 for Team Motorpark, a good performance on debut in the Euroformula Open Championship. Exits Rivata 2, looks in his right mirror, there's nobody there. It's a long way back to Cameron Dass as Jack Crawford starts the final lap of the race, a 1:35.4. The fastest driver on the circuit is the American. On your screen now into Tamburello for the final time. Turned 16 years of age during the weekend of the season opener at the Portuguese Grand Prix down in Portimao, down on the beautiful Algarve coast. Races 1 and 2 came from the back of the grid to finish in P6. Will miss one round of the championship, which clashes with his home race in Austin, Texas. The circuit of the Americas hosting the FIA F3 Championship for the first time in 2021. But with this victory, he will move into third in the series. Cameron Dass, third on the road, will just take the championship lead into the Red Bull Ring at Austria on the second weekend of September, out of Acqua Minerale for the final time. Team Motorpark down on the pit wall, watching on their boy, the Americans 1 and 3, Motorpark 1 and 2. A cautious line out of Alta Variante for the final time. It's been a brilliant weekend for Jack Crawford. The Red Bull Junior into Rivazza 1, brakes, turns in, and now accelerates. The checkered flag is about to wave. He's done it again. Jetpack Jack Crawford, Texas Ranger, wins race 3 in Euroformula Open here this afternoon at Imola. Roman Stanek crosses the line in P2. And we wait for the second American, Cameron Dass. Will he hold off Louis Foster just to take the championship lead into the Red Bull Ring in Austria in early September? Foster across the line, P4, Atzman 5. And a good result for Felipe Caminha. We expect the pole to finish in position 6. Two DNFs earlier in the weekend, but Philip Caminha's home in 6th place. Ahead of Brandon Lee, Oxley. We wait for those drivers to cross the line. Team Motorpark 1-2 here this afternoon. Crawford from Houston, Texas, USA, with a brilliant victory here this afternoon. Here's Josh Mason, wheel to wheel with Felipe Caminha. In fact, Caminha has been passed. Wow, on the final lap of the race, Caminha crosses the line in 7th place. Off screen, comes together with Josh Mason. The tyre pops off the rim. There is damage to the front of Caminha's car. They've stopped just in front of our commentary position at the end of the pit exit. So the order was not as we thought. Atzman P5, Brandon Oxley on debut in Euroformula finishes a superb P6. Felipe Caminha 7. Chervenet kept his nose clean to finish in 8th from Stevenson. And Enzo Shanti from one Texan to another rounds out the 10. Mason crosses the line with a damaged car in 11th place. Two wins and a podium this weekend elevates Jack Crawford into third in the championship. He wins race 3 from Roman Stanek. Two Americans on the podium, because with third place, Cameron Dass will take the championship lead into the next round in 7 weeks' time. Foster P4, Atzman 5 from Oxley, Kaminia, Chauvinek, Stevenson, Shanti, and the final finisher, albeit with the left rear Michelin off the rim, was Josh Mason. So many Red Bull juniors over the years, so many earmarked for great things that didn't work out for so many of them. Remember the name Jack Crawford, a little bit of Formula 4 racing over in the United States of America. In fact, he even did some legend car speedway racing over in his native USA. Living in the Netherlands these days. A Formula 4 race winner, and now third in the series in this F3 spec Euroformula Open class. A victory yesterday, second this morning, and race 3, the win this afternoon again. Third place, Cameron Dass. The American holds the championship lead, albeit only just over Foster. But a good drive from Cameron on his first visit to Imola here this weekend. Roman Stanek, a race win this morning. Fourth place yesterday in race 1. And second here this afternoon, Jack Crawford with his second victory of the weekend. A superb drive from the American. Who's down in pit lane now.
On the first step of the podium, second win in Imola. How was it today?
Yeah, it was quite a difficult race, I'd say. I kept the lead, and then there was a safety car, and during the safety car there was some oil drop down in the last 2 corners, and when I went for my restart I slipped on the oil and missed the corner, which allowed Roman to get past me, but I believe he overtook me over the finish line before me, so he got a penalty. But yeah, after that, once I got back out in front, the pace was really good, and yeah, just want to say thanks to Motopark and yeah, everyone.
And of course, a great duel with Roman Stanek today. 2 duels with Roman. You enjoyed that?
Yeah, I always enjoy a fight. You know, this morning it didn't come out my way, but luckily this afternoon I was able to come out on top. But yeah, I'm good friends with Roman. We're teammates in FIF3, so I know him well. And yeah, it was a good fight. So.
Well done. Podium now.
Race 3, round 5, the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Crawford launched off the line. Roman Stanek went side by side with the pole sitter. A good start from Enzo Trulli in position 3 in the opening stages of the race. Cameron Dass, a good start from the championship leader who went wheel to wheel with Willie Foster, who was swarming all over the back of the American Cameron Dass. Further back in the pack, Oxley and Chauvinek came together, but there was worse to come for the Van Amersfoort racing team. All 3 of the VAR cars coming together at the exit of Rivazza 2. Foster runs into the back of Trulli. The Italian's rear wing breaks. Bolokbashi off the road. Villa Gomez, Stevenson make contact. Not 1, not 2, but 3 VAR cars are out. Truly also retires with a damaged front wing. That brings out the safety car, stunning 2 inches on the restart. Goes briefly into position 1 as Cameron Dass and Louis Foster put on a brilliant fight throughout the majority of the race. Kaminias and Josh Mason going wheel to wheel in the final stages. They lead across the line. Crawford retook position 1, pulled away to win by 4.2 seconds. Jack Crawford, 2 victories here this weekend at Imola. Cameron Dass, P3. Roman in second. Don't mess with Texas. Jack Crawford wins for the 2nd time this weekend and moves into 3rd in the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. 2 Americans on the podium, 1 Czech, and once again the most famous national anthem in world sports. Massive congratulations also to Timo Rumpkale and Team Motopark, who have been affected by that tragic flooding up in the Benelux region and the northwest of Germany. The Motopark team based not too far from the Oschersleben circuit, which has been affected badly by the flooding that has claimed so many lives in the last few weeks. They finished 1-2 here this afternoon. Jack Crawford takes the victory. It's been another brilliant weekend of racing. Euroformula Open. We'll take a break for summer. We'll see you back at the Red Bull Ring in Austria for the Euroformula Open in September. We'll see you then.
Surprise, guys. Can you take place for the picture on the same step of the podium a little bit closer? Okay? Showing your focus, just looking down. Great. And now, if you are ready, for Champagne! Si stappa la bottiglia e qui finisce la nostra avventura in questo lungo e bellissimo weekend al circuito di Imola. Congediamo i protagonisti, li salutiamo, doccia alcolica, il brindisi finale e con questa scenografia meravigliosa un grande weekend va a compimento all'Enzo Dino Ferrari di Imola. Dal 1952, grande tempio del motorsport nel mondo.